Hey guys, welcome to another edition of the Verbally Effective Podcast. I am your host, your double E, Ina Esco. You know, this podcast is at the intersections of art, culture, politics, entertainment with a Memphis flair. I first off want to give a big shout out to everyone who came out to the All Things Podcasting Workshop. We had a great time just, soaking up knowledge like a sponge, networking, and I really appreciate all of you. We have more workshops coming soon and ebooks as well. But let's get right into it because I have a beautiful young lady with me who is thriving in the art world here in Memphis and beyond. She is a professional fine artist, owner of Orijennal Art. She creates amazing paintings that really exemplify Black women. And of course, natural ladies like me, she is accentuating all of those kinks and curls, and I love her art. I've been following her for quite some time. I'm talking about Jennifer Elaine. Welcome to the podcast.
Well, hello.
Hello, how are you?
I'm great. It's nice to finally meet you in person.
Yes, because, I'm trolling you on social media, looking at all of the amazing work that you're doing. Your art is beautiful.
Thank you.
Yes, I know you probably hear that all the time.
All the time. I haven't had one complaint yet.
Yes.
No negative feedback.
Okay.
Because I always feel like, there's something wrong because, we're our hardest critics. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, y'all don't see that? Or like I might see something later and I'm like, oh, I already made a post or whatever. Mm-hmm. So, but never had any negative feedback or critiques. So I'm like, okay, I guess it's real good. For real.
It is for real. And, I've had quite a few artists on the podcast. And like you said, artists are very sensitive about their work, very passionate about their work. And you have an art gallery here in Memphis. I think that's amazing.
Yes. My art gallery is in Cordova.
Yeah.
It's the first Black woman-owned art gallery in Cordova.
I believe it.
And it's nice. And so when people first pulled up, they were like, oh, we thought your name was Orijennal Art, so we thought you were some Asian people. And I was like, no. Wow. I said, where the T at? It's original. Yes. And they were like, is your name Jennifer? I was like, yes. And they're like, oh, so your name's a play on the words. I was like, yes. Mm-hmm. And so I opened the gallery, and I provided a platform for how many artists we have in there? 12 total. I like to keep the number at 11 because I like double numbers. But
okay, so they have like a residency there.
Yes.
Okay, Jen, we're going to get into Orijennal Art Gallery, but we're going to start at the beginning right here on Verbally Effective because I know that you are not originally from here. Tell us about where you're originally from.
I'm originally from Louisville, Kentucky, born and raised. Okay. I moved here, 13 years ago, April 2010, so almost 13 years.
Wow. So tell me about growing up in Louisville. Am I saying it right? Louisville?
You are.
Louisville, Kentucky.
Yes. Okay. So when I moved here, it was a culture shock. So Louisville.
I bet.
But I love the culture here. But let's go to Louisville real quick. Louisville's cool, but it's not predominantly Black city. Mm-hmm. And so in Louisville, like the Blacks, we kind of stick together, of course. I was raised in the suburbs area of Louisville, like in the outskirts. So I didn't really see much crime and all that. I know the crime has gotten worse now, but I think everywhere has gotten bad post-pandemic or whatever. But Louisville is it's a smaller city, maybe a little bit smaller than Memphis. It was cool growing up. It's predominantly white.
Yeah. So did you have a lot of white friends?
I did, but again, like most of the Black people, we stuck together. But I did have a lot of white friends. And it was less racial divide compared to what's going on now. But a lot of things have escalated to make it to the way things are.
That's facts.
Yes, very much so.
Were you into art back then, growing up in Louisville?
So, not really. I've sketched and drawn my whole life, but I would just do it for fun. Like, it was just something to do. And then, summer 2015, I was immobile for 8 weeks. I broke my ankle in 3 places.
Wow.
And I said, I need to do something. And so I taught myself how to paint. And it was it felt like therapy. And I felt like, oh, okay. Because I was bored. And I was like, let me see if I can teach myself to paint. And I did. And so I was self-taught. And I like it better than drawing. So it was nice.
Wow, self-taught. That's a lot of discipline to teach yourself something.
Yes. And I have OCD, so I'm real particular. Like everything has to be perfect. And so when I first started painting, like if I would say, for example, you have a coloring book, if I paint outside the lines or color outside the lines, I get so frustrated. But then I found out like with paint, it's easier to fix compared to pencil or crayons or markers. And I was like, oh, I said, I can do this. Like, this is me. And then I was like, I need to figure out what subject matter I want to do. And I said, I want to paint Black women to show our beauty, because it's such a negative connotation around us. Like, and I want us to feel beautiful for our Afrocentric features. Like, I was teased, for example, we go back to Louisville. I was teased for having full lips.
Wow.
And I'm like, something wrong with having big lips? And now people are paying to have lips like mine. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Yes. And injections and stuff like that. And so most of the women I do paint, they have full lips, because I felt like I was ridiculed when I was younger for that. And then living in Louisville, they saw me as like, they would say dark skin, blackie, stuff like that. But then when I moved here, people were like, you're not dark skin, you're brown skin. I was like, no, I'm dark skin. They were like, no, you're not. But in Louisville, it's like there's either light skin or you're dark skin. There's no in the middle. But here, everyone was like, no, you're brown skin. They say you're not even dark brown. I was like, okay, so this is different.
Memphis gonna let you know.
Yeah, they did. Real quick. They said, you ain't finna claim dark skin struggle. I was like, okay, well, never mind then. Look, never mind.
Do you think that negative connotation of how Black women are portrayed is changing? Or it's still there, but...
It's still there, but I feel like us as a community, like us as Black women, we are doing better with each other. Now, we still have some mean girls. The mean girl committee, we don't deal with them, but, you know, they're the ones that still feel like they have to bring us down, or the pick-me's, like, oh, no, I'm going to say this so, you know, I can fit in with the Black men. But I do feel like more Black men are starting to come back to us, you know, instead of going the other way.
Wow. Now, how old were you when you moved to Memphis?
Let's see, I'm 36 now, so 13 years, 23.
23. What were your immediate thoughts when you hit the town? Because I know you have family that your mom and dad are from here originally, right?
Yes.
So you were used to kind of visiting Memphis, but when you moved here and planted roots. Tell me about that experience, Jennifer.
So again, it was a big culture shock. I remember I was coming out of a gas station. I just paid I went inside to use the restroom because I had already pumped my gas. I came back out there like, oh, look at thick junt or a stout junt or something like that. I was like, stout junt. I was like, I don't know what that means. And I was like, thanks. And, you know, took off running or whatever. But I did feel more celebrated for being Black. Like, people would tell me like, oh, your skin's so beautiful. And I was like, thanks. So it was different. And then like to be able to be okay with my natural hair and stuff like that. You know, up north it's more or less, oh, your hair is nappy. So I'm like, okay, I like it here. Like, it was cool. And then the culture here is rich. Like, I didn't feel like Louisville had that much culture compared to Memphis. Like, and I feel like the culture here is deeply rooted in music and art. And of course the food's fine, but
yes, the food is fine.
I said fine. I ain't from here.
You see, you got that Memphis in you. You got that Memphis in you.
So yes, that was my initial. You know, now the men here are different.
How they different, Jennifer? Tell me how the men different.
Some of them are a little complacent where they are. Need to get some more you know. But then you have those other men. See, it's two-sided, because then you got the men that are like hustle, like that, making easy money, pimping. It's serious, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, like, I like that. They grit and grind. I like that.
Yes. Now, I heard you mention art community. What did the art community look like when you got here, and how is it now? Here in Memphis?
I think so when I got here, it was kind of fickle.
Because you were definitely tapping in.
Yes. Okay. And then once I started painting in 2015, that's when I really started tapping in. I was like, there's no Black art shows. There's nothing. And so I started having the Black art experience in May 2016. And like my first show, I was so nervous because I was like, I'm not from here. But over 100 people came, and I was like, wow. Oh my God. I was like, okay. And so then eventually by March 2019, it grew to over 600 people. But then the pandemic came, and so I haven't had it again. I plan on.
It's time.
I know. Everyone's asking. I do plan on doing it again, but other people like, but now there's another Black Art Festival. I was like, yeah, it still ain't
but
the
that's
Black
okay.
Art. Yeah.
That's not true.
I said, how many loaves of bread's on the shelf?
Okay.
I said, because people still been asking, they still want me. But I also have an art gallery now, so it's like, what do I want to do?
Yes.
So.
Yes. I can see you coming back with a vengeance with that Black art experience. Tell us about what was the flow of the event? Like, describe the Black art experience that you had.
So we had jewelry vendors, we had Black artists only. So I didn't want anybody to be able to invade our space, create spaces especially for us. And so art collectors came out, and we had a catered food, like full course meal, like a family reunion pretty much.
Yes.
Like you get everything. Body painting. Who else did we have? Man, we had a lot of vendors. Because eventually got up to over 40 artists and vendors together. And because the last one was at the Agri Center.
And that's a huge location.
Yes.
Yes.
And so it was nice. It was over 600 people at the last one. And artists were selling artwork. Like artists were selling out. You had to engage the audience, of course. And we even had like the wax bar. Memphis was there. She was doing services on the spot, like whether it was eyebrows. Now she didn't, do any waxing of the vajayjay, but everything else.
Everything else was good.
Yeah. And so people would end up leaving there and being one of her clients, permanently. And then we had the Cairo place there, of course, and they got clients from us as well.
Shout out to the Cairo place.
Yes. Dr. Dina Turner.
Yes.
She's so sweet. She's everything Black too. So
Yes. I like that everything Black. And we are kind of towards the end of Black History Month right now. Do you find that during Black History Month that you are celebrated more and have more business during Black History Month, or you don't see a difference?
So I'm Black History 365.
Okay.
But trying to think, it might be a slight increase in business because people are trying to buy Black, shop Black. But I think ever since they, more people found out about Juneteenth and, the meaning behind it and started celebrating it more, I feel like people have been buying Black year round. So it's actually changed some, like the dynamic. Now, before all the Juneteenth and the increase in police brutality and everything, I feel like Black History Month, yes, sales soared. But now it's kind of like level throughout the year.
Okay. Well, Jennifer, we're going to take a quick break and we're going to kind of get into some of your exchanges with some of your clients, because I know, the goal is to sell your art and negotiate and, have people appreciate what you're doing. So we're going to get all into Orijennal Art Gallery and, how you, negotiate with these clients and other things that you're doing to leverage your brand. Okay. All right, Verbally Effective audience, we'll be right back with Jennifer Elaine. Hey guys, welcome back to the Verbally Effective podcast. It's Ina Esco on the MIC, and I have with me the very beautiful Black Jennifer Elaine. She is the owner of Orijennal Art, and we're going to get all into how did you and why did you begin Orijennal Art Gallery?
So I was a teacher. So we gotta go back. So I worked at DCS and I was like, oh, it's too much trauma. And so then I got a job at MLK Prep teaching art 9 through 12. It was nice. Culture was pretty bad. It was in Fraser. And then I stopped working there May 2019. And so I was like, what am I going to do? I was like, do I want to use my psychology degree, my biology degree? What do I want to do? And so I was like, maybe I can be a behavior specialist at Shelby County Schools or something like that, right? And I was like, nah, it wasn't working. And I would apply to jobs, I wasn't hearing nothing back. And so my dad was like, why don't you open your own art gallery? You got a lot of clients. And like I was making, like even while I was working, I was making like 40 to 60 grand off my art on the side.
Wow.
Yeah, so I was like, okay. I said, but who gonna pay the overhead at the gallery? And he was like, you should look for something off Germantown Parkway, because I live in Cordova. I have a house in Cordova. And I don't live far from Germantown Parkway. And I was like, okay. And so I went looking. I was like, ooh, this is a nice spot. It's right off Germantown Parkway. And I was like, how much is the rent? And they were like, $2,300. And I was like, Ooh. I was like, that's a lie. My dad was like, you can do it. You know, because I had looked at some other places, but they didn't take me serious because I was a young black woman. Because how old was I then? 31, 32, somewhere around there. And I was like, dang, they didn't take me serious at all. Like, they were like, yeah, you know, you're kind of new in business. And I was like, no, I've been in business since 2015. And they're like, yeah, nah. Right. So then opened the gallery and I hit the ground running. Like, the grand opening was huge. Art, one of the artists sold his whole back wall. His name's Morris Sally Mosal. He's kind of like my business partner. And he sold the entire back wall. He was like, oh, Queen Jenn, we in this for real. And I was like, yeah. I said, I need you to fill the wall back up, you know. And so at that time, I think we had exactly 11 artists. And I was like, I can help these artists market, learn how to price their work. And there were artists who never sold artwork until they came to Orijennal Art or until they came to Bay. And so, because of course Bay was before the gallery opened. And I was like, oh my God, like this is so touching. Because some of the artists were like, oh my God, I sold my first piece. And I was like, oh, because I'm sitting here thinking they've been selling art. Yeah. And they were like, no, like this is my first sale. And I was like, this is dope. So
yes,
I just wanted to create a platform for black artists, and we need some more black in Cordova. Now we have more like black restaurants finally, and still there's a few black spots like you can go to like venues or whatever, but otherwise like I feel like we need more, still need more black in Cordova. So
well, you know, with the pandemic and what do they call it, the great forgot, not great recession, but people leaving their corporate jobs or leaving their jobs, trying to be entrepreneurs. I would think that there are more black-owned businesses just across the board. So you're seeing some pop up.
Yes. So the Great Resignation.
The Great Resignation.
Yes, there are several black businesses popping up now in Cordova, and I love it. Like I'm like, can we turn Cordova black? But don't,
I'm seeing a lot of spots opening.
Yes.
Like, wow.
Yes, because even Pop's Colonel, she's one door down from me. So it's dope. And, you know, sometimes I sneak down there, give me a little bag of popcorn. Her popcorn's the best popcorn I've ever had.
Yes.
Yeah, so, yeah, she's pretty dope, too. And she's so sweet, so sweet. And I like, you know, business owners that are like that, genuinely care, loving, and not jealous. Like, I can't stand when, like, our own people get jealous of each other. Like,
so you've gone through a lot of jealousy along your journey.
Yes.
In what ways, Jennifer?
So I've even had, like, when I opened my gallery, like, there's been artists that have had issues. Like, I didn't even know. Like, it was like a snake, you know, type thing. And then, like, some friends, like, they just start falling off because you don't think they're jealous. And then after you look back, you're like, oh, so that's what it was. Like, instead of making it, like, they make it all about them, and it's really not about them because we're in business. So it's like, if you want to be seen, just say it. You know what I'm saying?
They hold it in and just be watching and observing and just festering like a sore. Ooh.
Yeah, but why fester?
I don't know, girl.
You know, like if there's an issue, say it. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm pretty down to earth and I'm open. Like I'm laid back. I'm a Libra, so I'm pretty now black and white. You know what I'm saying? But as far as coming to me, talking to me, like my friends, they know. They're like, Jennifer, cool. Like you can talk to her about anything. So if you got an issue
from you.
Yeah. So you know what I'm saying? If you got an issue, say it. You know, folks almost 40 years old and or above 40, like, come talk to me.
Like, they'll be all right. They'll be all right.
But I'm not about to dim my light for anybody.
Don't. No. I know you're not, Jennifer. I know you're not. Some of the black-owned businesses you mentioned, are they clients of yours?
They are.
Okay.
Because Jason, he owns Trap Fusion. He's bought art from us and from Mosal especially. And then he also asked us to decorate, like, well, the art at the Whitehaven location, he bought all of that art. But the art at the Cordova location, he allows us to put art in there. And then if people come and they want to buy, they buy it. And he doesn't even take a commission off the sale. So,
wow.
Yeah.
Now, something that you mentioned is that, you know, the artists that are in residency at your gallery, you help them price. Is that something hard for artists to do? And how do you determine price points with art?
So pricing is very hard. Even like my first piece. I think I sold it for $150 and it went to United Kingdom. And so I really didn't make much off the sale, but I didn't know how to price my art. And I was like, I was like, I didn't make anything really because the shipping was like $64. And then it got held up in customs and I had to pay more money. And I was like, okay, so I made $20 off the paint. And I was like, okay, this is different.
Next time, right?
Yes, and I do know. Yeah, so my prices are, they're, of course, they'll increase every year, but, they're way more than that now. Like this piece, I just sold her. She's close to $1,000. Wow. So,
do you have a name for this piece?
Yes, her name is Pure Radiance.
Pure Radiance. I see that, especially with the vibrant colors. Yes.
Going to art critique. You know what I'm saying?
I'm just saying.
Yes, I love vibrant colors.
Yes.
So I like, because we are colorful people. Now the only reason I switched to black and white art for just like a couple months, my friends challenged me. They said, I bet you can't do work without color. And I said, who?
Yes, you can.
And I did it. I did it. One of my pieces that's black and white is at a natural fair. Takesha Berry Brooks is the owner. She's my close friend. Like I talk to her every day. That's my homie. Okay. And she's all Memphis, Maine. Look, she's straight Memphis.
Straight Memphis.
And like she keeps me together. Yes. Like, and she don't let nobody play with me at all. Right. And like when I did the black and white piece, she said, yep, it's going in my salon. Oh, wow. And so she just opened another location in Cordova in March of last year. So she's coming up on her 1 year anniversary.
Amazing. So. Amazing. Now, I know, you're very active online. I'm sure people reach out to you all the time about your pieces. Tell me about some of the exchanges, some of the most interesting exchanges you've had with negotiating with people. And I know you probably negotiate with celebrities as well.
Yes. So Sierra has bought artwork for me. Wow. That exchange was random because I tagged her because I used her song Better Things when it first came out. It was on my birthday. And she was like, I love your art. And she told me happy birthday. And then she went to my website and bought it. Wow. And like she bought several canvas prints and I was like, oh my God. And so I was so excited. So that one was quick. Like, most of the time I can tell when someone's actually going to buy. And then some people are like, whoo, those prices are, like it might not be in their budget. But some people I feel like, I don't know whether they're shameful or something, but I feel like, you can just be like, hey, I can't afford it instead of ghosting. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, they'll ghost.
Yeah. Like, for example, I just did a big painting called Sapphire Solitude. It went viral. Got over 800,000 views on Instagram, 100,000 likes, I think. And people were reaching out, but some people would just ghost me. But other people, they would go ahead and tell me like, ooh, I can't afford $4,000 at this time. You know what I'm saying? And I was cool with that. Or they'll just go buy a canvas print, which is a lot, like if it's in your budget. You know what I'm saying? Because most of the time, the original real art collectors buy the original, because they're like, they don't see a price. They're just like, okay, if they want it, they're going to buy it. I could say $20,000. They want it, they're going to get it, Yes. But as far as someone just getting into collecting art, it's probably best to start like at a print, which might be like $44. And then a canvas print starts at like $200 and up. So it just depends, like whether it's embellished or not. Like embellishments with gold leaf or texture, things like that. Yeah. But I've also had some people like, I can go to Marshall's or I can go to Kirkland's. Yeah, they'd be like, I can get it for $100 at Kirkland's. I'm like, okay.
We'll do that.
Yeah, because it's not an original, but okay. Yeah.
Oh, wow. I bet you've heard and seen it all.
Yes. Home goods. I've heard everything. Well, I can do it myself. Do it.
Right.
Yeah, I want to see you do all this detail.
Yes, because you have a lot of pieces with a lot of detail. What has been like the piece that has taken you the longest time to create?
I would have to say Godiva. She was, I started her before my dad passed because he passed away suddenly in March of 2022. And it took me forever to get back into the swing of things. And so like I would paint and I would like have a vision or a flashback and I'd be like, okay. And I couldn't focus or I might start crying or something like that. And so she took a long time. I think I started her in February. I don't think I finished her till like May. And I usually finish artwork depending on the size and detail, like between like 2 weeks to 4 weeks. Cause I also have ADD, so I'm all over the place. So, and then I get interrupted because, of course, I had to ship out orders. And you were following me before I even hit 10K on Instagram, and now I'm at 20.6K.
Yes. So, come on, following.
Yes. And so now I have a lot of orders that I have to process. And then I also do like homeschool classes now on Mondays. And then people come in for private art lessons, like children. Busy. Yes. And so I'll work on a piece, then I might have to step back for a little bit and do all the administrative tasks. And then, of course, people reach out about other, like paint parties, events at the gallery. Then I just did a paint party with the Memphis Grizzlies staff.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yes. And so I had to go to the FedEx Forum. So, it's a lot of in between. So when people are like, do you do commission work anymore? And I'm like, I got to wait for a minute because I'm all over the place right now. Like, I got to get some type of system because right now it's like, I'm productive, but I'm also busy. And I don't like busy. I like productive. Yeah. So being busy is kind of like I need to be able to produce as well. So
sounds like you're balancing it somewhat, but you say you need to be productive, not busy.
Correct. And I'm a Libra, so we love balance. We can balance everybody else's life except for our own. And so I'm trying to get that work-life balance because, again, I have an 18-year-old that goes to Tennessee State. And then I have a 5-year-old still at home. And my 5-year-old, he's wild. He's a Pisces. He's emotional. And,
okay, now it's Pisces season now. Hold on now. Hold on now.
Look, don't start
He a lover, though.
He a lover. He is. He's so lovable.
He love his mama, I know.
Yes, and don't want nobody to touch her. Like, he got jealous because my mom had came down for a couple of weeks. And he got upset because I was in there talking to her when he woke up. He said, "What are you doing in here?" He said, "Why are you talking to Granny?" I said, "Oh." I was like, "What do you want me to do?" He said, "Let's go in the living room and eat breakfast." And I was like, "Oh." Okay. And he's so skinny and tall. And I'm like, he's running things around his house. I said, "Let me go." Yes. I said, "Mama, I'll come talk to you later." So I got to go. Look, I got to go. But yeah.
You know what? Being a boy mom is such great joy. You just mentioned the ages of your boys. And, I have a 17 and a 9-year-old. You got a bigger gap than me. You got a bigger gap than me.
I was at the finish line and, I met one of these Memphis men, he got to me. So
he got to you.
He did. He got to me. And, here came Jalen, the 5-year-old. So.
Hey, Jalen. Hey, Jalen. Okay, Jennifer, let's do this. I need you to repeat after me. Okay?
All right, let's go.
Amen. Say mine.
Amen. Say mine.
See, you ain't from no Louisville. You from Memphis. You from Memphis.
I'm from Memphis.
You from Memphis. Okay, check it out, Jennifer. I this is a transparent moment between you and I. So act accordingly. Amen. Say mine. What is something possible today that may have not been possible just 10 years ago in your life?
So today I've learned, it's actually been kind of like the past year or so, I've learned how to create boundaries and stop letting people walk over me. And 10 years ago, I was more of a people pleaser, but that goes with the Libra anyway. It's Libra energy, because we want to be liked by everybody. And I had to learn over the past year, not everyone's going to like me and not everyone's for me. They might pretend to be for me, but they're really not. And so now I'm more okay with cutting that toxicity, and then I've realized that manipulation is when people are upset because you set boundaries around their toxic traits, but they don't like that. Yeah. Like, your toxic actions are why I'm behaving this way or why I had to create a boundary, but they'll manipulate the situation. And I've even had it to where people have called, like, my close friends, and they're like, "Why don't you just call Jennifer?" You know what I'm saying? Because again, like I told you, I'm very easygoing. So the people pleasing has gotten better because I felt like that was a character flaw because it was allowing people to walk over me.
Affect your business.
Yes.
Big time.
Yes. And as people have fallen off, because as you elevate, let's say we're on an elevator. Sometimes you got to stop to let people off, right?
Okay.
As you continue to climb to the top, even though you don't want to, because it hurts. Because when I'm a friend. Like, I mess with you the long way. Like, there's nothing. Like, I'll drop everything if something's going on. And so if I have to sever a friendship, it hurts, like, real bad, because I'm real genuine with my friends. And so, again, I wouldn't be able to do this 10 years ago, to be able to just be like, okay, it's not me. It's not me. I have to understand it's them. You know what I'm saying? And so that's really hard, though, because I usually do take things personal, like, nah, or maybe I said something, or maybe I did something. Yeah. But really, some people create false narratives in their head, and their perception's not reality. Like, I have a lot going on, especially this past year. So grief did open my eyes more. Like, I saw so much. I saw people's true colors, and I'm like, dang, have they always been this way?
Wow.
You know? So 10 years ago, no, I would have never been able to do that. I would still be over here getting walked over, being a pushover, and not be able to use my voice. Like, I never felt like I could use my voice 10 years ago. Yes. And now, getting interviewed by news stations, and people are buying my art for 4 and 5 figures, you know? I wouldn't be able to do that 10 years ago because I wasn't as confident. So
yes. I love it. I love it, Jennifer. Your confidence exudes just everywhere. I love it. I love it. You know, sometimes you just got to tell these folks no. And for a Libra, that may have been hard before.
Yes, Lord. Because I'm, again, people pleaser, and I want everyone to like me. So not being able to use my voice and say no, it was rough. And so now that I can do that and not feel bad about it, I feel like I'm winning now.
You are. You definitely winning. All right. Amen. Say amen. Tell me, what is the thing that you love most about Memphis and the thing that you hate the most about Memphis?
What I love most about Memphis, this sounds so fair, is the food.
Is the food?
Yeah, the food and culture too. I like the culture too, but
what
the
particularly food you like as far as food here in Memphis?
Ooh, the wings. Yeah, I don't really eat pork because it messes my stomach up, but I love wings. Like, I'm a wing connoisseur. And then there's a variety of foods here.
Yeah, we got a bunch of wing spots out here.
Yeah, and then y'all make up new flavors and stuff here. And I was like, ooh.
They don't have that in Louisville.
No. You just get hot mouth, you know, lemon pepper. But I do love lemon pepper wings. But like here, like Honey Gold, never heard of it till I came here. Like, there's so many different ones. And then they put these different names on them. And I'm like, okay, I got to try those. Yeah. You know. And they got to be fried hard. Someone said, you picked that up from Memphis. I was like, nah, I've always wanted I don't want no chewy chicken.
Okay. Make it fried hard.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so it's the food. So what about on the other side of things in Memphis?
The crime. I feel like the crime overshadows the creativity, the culture in Memphis. And it's starting to get widespread. Because at first, like, I wouldn't... Like, Cordova was straight. Like, I had no issues. Because I started in Bartlett. It was fine. And then I moved out to Cordova. It was perfect. Like, we had very little crime. But now it's starting to get car break-ins, house break-ins. And I might see a murder or somebody shooting or something. I'm like, what? In Cordova? You know? And so I think maybe over the past 5-6 years, it's gotten worse. And I'm like, Like, I feel like there needs to be something, whether it's the city officials or better parenting, something needs to happen to try to curb this crime, because otherwise it's going to keep going. And then seeing the ages, like I saw, it was on Unapologetically Memphis, an 11-year-old. And they keep just slapping his hand.
Did he do the 11-year-old? He killed the teacher?
No, that was a 6-year-old. That was in Texas.
Okay.
Yeah. Hold on. The 11-year-old. What did he do? Oh, car break-in, stealing. Yes. He was doing all that crazy stuff. And I was like, where are his parents? But I saw people in the comments. Where's his parents? And is he in the system? Like, is he a ward of the
film,
state?
Huh? They had it. They had.
But they didn't show his face.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because he's a minor. But they said he's out again. Like, they just slap his wrist and he's back out.
That's so sad.
So no consequences. You're gonna keep doing it over and over until you know that, oh, I'm gonna get in trouble if I do this. And then, like, even what is this, 17 to 24-year-olds? It seems like the crime is like through the roof. And I was like, come on now, Generation Z, let's get it together.
Yeah. Because everything you just mentioned, I mean, you know, from the parenting, even police enforcement. You know, we just suffered the tragedy of Tyree Nichols, and, you know, you have to look at that side of the coin as well. Like, you know, these people are out here. Memphis is still up here in poverty. You know, we're dealing with a lot in Memphis.
Yes. And the poverty mindset, there has to be a way to try to get rid of that in Memphis. And I feel like that also heightens the crime here because the poverty, there's lack of resources. And then, you know, sometimes when there are resources, there's unappreciation involved as well. And so I don't know the solution and I don't know the answers.
It's hard to give a concrete solution.
Yes, and I wish there was something I could do because if it was up to me, I'd save the world. But I don't even know. Like, I don't know. Like, I do what I can, you know, to support different organizations, like the people that are actually out there on foot, out there doing the work. Like, I'm like, hey, what you need? If I can do financial help, I got you. But as far as, like, I don't know what to do. But I feel like I have some friends that they're out there, they're activists, and they know, like, they're trying to work, you know, they're in the communities, they're doing the work, you know, and I commend them for that. So if I can help you in any way, I'm going to do that.
Yeah. Now, you know, what's very interesting is, you know, there are so many people here in Memphis that, you know, are doing big things in the art world, and they probably don't know where to start and be similar on a Jennifer Elaine platform, right? Like, like you mentioned, you know, some of the artists that you have, they don't know how to price. They probably never sold a painting. What advice do you have for these artists out here that are struggling in the thick of it and want to make waves?
My first advice would be to be consistent. Without consistency, you will not succeed. And you have to be confident in your work. Like, you have to know that, excuse my language, that you're the shit. Literally. Like, you have to know that and internalize it. And then if someone does offer you critique, you have to accept it. Don't be too sensitive about your shit. But you have to accept it at times. You know what I'm saying? And then as far as getting yourself out there, don't be afraid to contact artists that might be soaring, or, you know, they might be popping at the moment. Contact them. Like, especially me, like, I'm very open. Like, you have questions, I'll answer them, you know. Some of my friends say I should do an ebook and charge people, but I'm like, you know, some information.
You don't get a game for free.
I have been giving the game for free, but yeah.
And that's okay too. That's okay, because really you probably not giving all the game for free, are you? Or are you?
It seems like it. Yeah. And that might go back to the Libra miss, but I'm gonna get it together, you know. Yeah. But I mean, I can't do I gotta monetize everything? Look, social media is already monetized. And that feel like a full-time job along with trying to create. So I got to stay on the consistent with the algorithm, respond to comments. Because again, it's social media. So that's another thing. Like, when you're on social media, respond to people. Don't just go and tap their comment and like it. No, you need to respond
and engage.
Yes. And be genuine. Like, I actually do love when people comment on my, so I can engage with them, you know, and I talk a lot. So it's like I can talk through the computer too, and then I can talk and be on the phone and typing. You know what I'm saying?
Wow, Jennifer. So you out here doing the art, doing the social media, doing this, doing that. I'm so surprised about the social media piece, like all of it. You out here busy.
Yes, because most artists are introverts, and so that's another thing. I'm an extrovert, so a lot of artists are like, you're not scared to talk to people? I'm like, no. I've always been a social butterfly, so that also helps. Yeah, because some artists are very shy, and I'm not. And so, but I feel like if you're shy or introvert, social media should work, you know, because you're not in person. But I don't know.
When you went to Instagram, the visual of all visual platforms across the board, did you notice anything change with your business? And were you hesitant to go on social media, or have you always been on there with your work?
Ever since I started painting, yes, I've always been on social media. So again, I'm a very social person, so Instagram wasn't scary to me. I do like that now we can do reels, because that's what blew my following up even more and my clientele. I really haven't had any trolls per se. I think I had one, and she was like, I wouldn't pay $700 for that. And I said, that's fine. Maybe you don't have it. You know, and then I was like, oh, no, I can't say that. But I had already typed it, and I was like, okay, let me just go delete her comment. You know, because I was finna go on a rant. Look at this girl said this and da-da-da-da-da. Yeah. You know, and I was like, why am I feeding this negative energy? And so I just deleted the comment, deleted my post, because I went to Facebook with it. And some of my friends were like, let me go respond. So they was under the comment, too. I was like, okay. I was like, they got her. They don't play about me. So I said, let me just delete the whole comment. I was like, I got to quit. I was like, nope, don't feed into it. Like, you can't feed into the negativity. But Instagram, you know, it started off as the photo sharing app, you know, and so now we can do videos. I mean, my photos still do good too, but I mean, the reels, it takes a lot of work. Yeah, but the content takes it takes a lot of work because you got to edit and make sure you pick the right trending song. Girl. Make sure your hashtags on point, your caption, because them too long captions, because I don't even read some of them. Like, you better catch me in the first 3 lines, or I'm going to...
You got to pull them in quick on the reels. With the music, the caption, what we looking at, everything.
Yes, and ask a question to get more engagement in the comments. It's a lot. So, you know, once you learn the method to the madness... Play Instagram's game, Facebook's game, TikTok's game, whoever, because all of them are pretty much the same. Once you learn their games, you can play them or not.
Yeah, and then they like, you know, for you to pay to play.
Yes, and I don't pay for ads.
Because you figured out that algorithm. Yes, that's the secret sauce right there.
Yes, so you find out what time is popping for you, because the time's not the same for everyone. Because some people are like, what time do you post? I'm like, but you got to look at your audience. Make sure they're active. You know what I'm saying? And you just learn. And then sometimes the algorithm will pick you up, sometimes not. And then since I'm on the Reels bonus program, sometimes once I get to a certain threshold, they be like, hold on, let me slow her down a little bit because we don't pay her as much, you know? And I'll be like, oh, don't worry about it. So I'll turn off the Reels bonus for that reel or something, and it'll shoot through the roof. And I'm like,
wow. I said, you didn't figure them out, Jennifer. You have figured them out. Wow. You know what? It has been very, very interesting to hear your story and the amazing work that you're doing in the art community. And I applaud you because your confidence exudes. Your artwork is amazing, and you want to help the other artists in Memphis. So let me give you your flowers now, Jennifer. Elaine, I love everything that you're doing, and thank you for coming to Verbally Effective.
Thank you, and you're welcome.
Yes. Now, before we go, I want you to let the Verbally Effective audience know how they can follow your journey on social media, when the art gallery is open, and also some upcoming events that you have.
All right. So social media tags are all on my website. So I'm just going to spell out the website. It's Orijennal art.com. So originalart.com. And my Instagram, Facebook, everything's connected. So you just click. It'll say follow me on Instagram. It's easy to do. And then look, you're gonna do some editing.
Right. We gallery website. Okay,
website. So gallery hours are closed Sunday, Monday, open Tuesday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m., Saturday, 11 a.m. to 6. And then if there's an event going on, sometimes on Saturdays we open till 10. It just depends on what's going on.
So what kind of events you got coming up at the art gallery?
Well, my friend Kim Newsom is having an event on, what day is that? March 25th. There's an investment, of course. It's going to be very nice and top tier.
I saw that.
Yes. And so her event is the 25th. You can go actually to either my Instagram or hers, and you'll see the event. Then there's Sister Reach fundraiser is the Thursday before. What's that? The 23rd, maybe? Yeah, that's the 23rd. And then I know I'm going backwards. The 11th, Miss Cheryl is having an event, but it's a private event, and it's during the morning. So
so we can do private events at Original Art Gallery.
Yes, ma'am. We can do private events. We can do public events. We can do it all. And we just had a Black History Showcase, and we were sold out. It was packed. Wow. I said, Lord, don't let the fire marshal come in here. But we did it, and it was very successful.
That was a good problem to have.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, congratulations, Jennifer Elaine. Keep doing what you do. Artists, connect with Jennifer Elaine. She's answering all the questions, giving all the game. And I want you guys to continue to follow her amazing journey. And I want to thank all of you for tuning in to Verbally Effective Podcast. Be sure to hit subscribe on all streaming platforms and the Ina Esco YouTube channel as well. I'll see you guys next week.
This is the Spotlight Podcast Network.